Michael thought telling one small lie would keep his family safe. But the truth? It destroyed everything he was trying to protect. When a DNA test came back revealing a secret he'd buried, a beat later, we're back in that same room. Now empty except for the two brothers. David's pacing, frantic. He didn't mean it, Mike. He was confused. It was the meds. We don't need to open that box. But Michael can't let it go. The truth is a ghost already whispering in his ear. He can't unhear it. That night, they drive to the family house. The attic smells of dust and secrets. A single box waits beneath a tarp, labeled in their father's handwriting, "For my sons." David hesitates. "Please don't." But Michael opens it anyway. Inside, a single envelope and a letter. As he unfolds the paper, the camera pans over his shaking hands. The ink is faded, but one line burns through time. If you're reading this, then the truth has found you. One of you was born from love, the other from a mistake that turned into something better. The camera cuts to Michael's face, the confusion, the hope, the dread. Then to David, standing just behind him, eyes filling with tears. "Mike," he whispers, voice trembling. "I already know which one it is." Michael looks up, stunned. "What?" David's voice cracks. "Mom told me when I was 16. I begged her to keep it secret. I didn't want Dad to hate me." The letter falls from Michael's hands. The silence afterward is unbearable. It's not anger. It's pity. And pity is worse. He turns away, pacing. "You should have told me." "I couldn't," David says. "He was dying. What good would it do? We're brothers, Mike. We still are. You can't tell anyone. Promise me." Michael stops. The weight of the promise forms like cement between them. "You want me to lie? I want you to protect what's left of this family." That's how it started. Not as a deception, but as a duty. A lie wrapped in love, like a bandage that never comes off. As the years pass, the secret becomes part of their bloodline. Family dinners, birthdays, weddings. The lie sits quietly at the table, always there, always smiling. Then one night, 15 years ago, everything changes again. David calls in tears. "I messed up, Mike. I can't fix it this time." His words are slurred, panicked. A woman's name echoes through the static. Her name's Emily. She's pregnant. She says she can't raise it alone. Michael's blood runs cold. "You're married, David. You have a son already, I know," he chokes out. "And if Mom and Dad were alive, they'd never forgive me. Please, Mike, don't let the kid grow up carrying my sins." The line goes dead. 2 months later, Emily disappears from town. A baby is left at a hospital under Michael's name, with paperwork signed M. Thompson. Michael knows it's his brother's doing. He also knows what he has to do. He looks at the infant, small, perfect, innocent. "I'll keep you safe," he whispers. That baby was Lily. From that moment on, the lie becomes his life's mission. He files the birth certificate under his own name. He raises her as his own daughter. Every smile, every bedtime story, every scraped knee becomes another layer of a lie. And when David calls years later, voice low with shame, saying, "Thank you for saving her," Michael's answer is quiet but resolute. "Then let's both keep her safe forever." The camera cuts back to present day. Dr. Phill listening intently, lips pressed in empathy. "So the lie wasn't about hiding an affair," he says gently. "It was about protecting a child." Michael nods. "I told myself I was saving her from the truth. But maybe I was just saving myself from the fallout." Dr. Phill leans in, eyes steady. And now that fallout's sitting 2 chairs away. The shot pans to Lily, her expression a mix of pain and disbelief. The truth is no longer buried. It's breathing right in front of her. But when the DNA test results came back, the past didn't just catch up. It brought a new name Michael never expected to see again. If the truth could destroy your family, but silence could destroy your soul, which would you choose? It started like a joke, a harmless college assignment. Lily came home one afternoon with a bright smile and a small white box in her hand, a DNA test kit. She waved it playfully, laughing. "Let's find out if we're part Viking or royalty or something." Michael smiled back, but his stomach turned to ice. The past, the one he'd buried beneath birthdays and bedtime stories, had just come knocking with a barcode. He played along, of course. Fathers always do. He swabbed his cheek, sealed the envelope, and even teased her, "I bet I got more Irish blood than you." But that night, when the house went quiet, he sat on the edge of his bed staring at the test receipt in his hands. He knew what that small tube of saliva carried. Not just DNA, but the one truth he'd spent half his life running from. Weeks passed. The kit faded into background noise. Until one morning, Lily came running into the kitchen, laptop open, voice trembling. "Dad, it's back." Michael's coffee froze halfway to his lips. She spun the screen toward him. A bright dashboard glowed with colorful ancestry charts. But then, a section below, genetic matches. One line stood out in bold. David Thompson, close family, predicted, parent/child. Lily frowned. "Dad, why does it say I have another parent match?" Michael's throat closed. His pulse hammered in his ears. He forced a laugh, but it cracked halfway out. "Probably a glitch," he said. "Those things aren't always accurate." But Lily wasn't buying it. "A glitch that thinks Uncle David is my parent?" The room went still. Even the clock seemed to stop ticking. Karen stepped in, wiping her hands on a towel. "What's going on?" Lily turned the screen. "Mom, look." The blood drained from Karen's face. She read it twice, then again, each time slower. David Thompson, close family, parent/child. Her eyes shot toward Michael, searching for denial, outrage, anything but what she saw instead. Silence. He didn't move, didn't breathe. He just stared at the floor, the way guilty men do when the truth finally arrives dressed as evidence. "Michael," Karen's voice cracked. He whispered, "It's not what you think." Lily took a step back. "Then what is it?" He swallowed hard. "It's what I was trying to protect you from." She blinked, tears already gathering. "Protect me? By lying to me my entire life?" Michael's words tumbled out fast, like a dam bursting. "Lily, listen to me. I loved you before I even knew the truth. I raised you. You're my daughter. But you're not my father," she shot back. That sentence, short, sharp, final, hit harder than anything the DNA report could show. Dr. Phil's voice enters softly, narrating over a slow zoom on the family sitting in that room, frozen in disbelief. Sometimes, the truth doesn't come in a confession. It comes in a notification. The story shifts to the stage again, Dr. Phill reading the report out loud. His tone steady, his eyes heavy. The test shows a 99.97 parental match between Lily and Michael's brother, David. Meaning, Lily is biologically David's daughter. The audience gasps. Michael looks destroyed, not angry, not defensive, just empty. Karen presses her hand to her mouth, her wedding ring glinting under the stage lights like a cruel reminder. Dr. Phill leans forward, voice calm but piercing. "Michael, you raised your brother's child as your own for 21 years. Why didn't you tell your wife? Why didn't you tell her who Lily really was?" Michael's eyes glisten. "Because David was breaking down. He was suicidal. He begged me not to. He said if anyone found out, he'd end it. I couldn't risk that. I couldn't let his sin destroy another life." Karen stares at him, betrayed but breaking. "So you let it destroy mine instead?" The words hang in the air. Lily's face is wet with tears. "You said I was your everything. You said you'd never lie to me." Michael's voice shakes. "And I meant it. Every word. You are my everything. I just didn't know how to love you and tell you the truth at the same time." Dr. Phill pauses, giving the moment weight. "Michael, you didn't protect them from the truth. You protected yourself from the pain of telling it." The crowd is silent. Even Lily's sobs fade into quiet disbelief. Dr. Phil's tone softens. "You thought you were saving your family, but you were building it on borrowed time. And time always collects." Michael lowers his head. For the first time, he doesn't defend himself. He just whispers, "You're right." A single line appears on screen as his voice trembles over it. The truth always waits. It never leaves. The screen fades to black for a beat, then cuts back to Dr. Phill turning toward the audience. But there's one part of this story Michael still doesn't know. The producers exchange looks off camera. Someone hands Dr. Phill a folder. Inside it is a transcript, an email from David. The timestamp? 2 weeks ago. Whatever's in that message will turn this from a story of guilt into a story of confession. If your truth finally came to light, Not from your lips, but from someone else's. Would you still call it yours? The stage lights dim to a soft amber. You can almost hear hearts beating through the silence. The letter from David sits unopened on the table between Dr. Phill and Michael, a single sheet capable of burning a lifetime of lies. Dr. Phill looks straight at Michael. You haven't read this yet, have you? Michael shakes his head. No, sir. His voice is small, the voice of a boy waiting for judgment. Dr. Phill glances toward Karen and Lily. Do you want to know what your brother had to say before he disappeared again? Karen's hand finds her daughter's, knuckles white. Lily doesn't answer. She just nods. Dr. Phill unfolds the paper, reading slowly, each word a stone dropping into still water. Mike, if they're hearing this, it means I couldn't do it myself. I never meant for you to carry my sin. I asked you to lie, but you did more. You lived it. You were a better father to my child than I ever could have been. I thought silence would save us, but silence just taught her to love a ghost. The audience exhales all at once. Dr. Phil's eyes lift. He ends it with one line. He reads it quietly. Tell Lily the truth, and tell her that being loved by two broken men was never her fault. Lily covers her mouth. The tears she's been holding finally fall. He knew, she whispers. All this time, Michael's body collapses inward. He looks at her through glassy eyes. I was going to tell you when you were older, then older never came. Karen's voice cuts in, sharp, trembling. You had 21 years, Michael. 21 birthdays to tell the truth. He looks up at her, defeated. Every one of those birthdays, I told myself tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll fix it. But tomorrow kept turning into next year. Dr. Phill leans forward, tone measured but firm. That's how most lies survive, Michael. They don't hide in evil. They hide in delay. The words sink deep. You can see it on his face. The realization that postponement was the real betrayal. Lily wipes her tears, turning toward her father. So all those times Uncle David sent me birthday cards. He wasn't just my uncle. Michael nods slowly. He was trying to stay close without breaking the promise. I told him to stop, but he couldn't. You were the only good thing either of us ever did right. Her voice trembles. You made my life feel like a borrowed story. The studio falls into the kind of silence that makes viewers lean closer. Dr. Phill lets it breathe before he speaks again. Lily, I know this hurts, but hear me carefully. Biology explains where we come from. It doesn't decide who shows up when the fever hits, who teaches you to ride a bike, who sits in the stands. Who is that man? She looks at Michael. Her anger softens, not forgiven, just tired. It was him, she says quietly. Michael's shoulders shake. For the first time, relief mixes with grief. That's all I ever wanted, to still be your dad when you found out. Dr. Phill nods once, the authority in his tone replaced by something human. Then start being honest from this moment on, not just with them, but with yourself. Because if the truth can survive this stage, it can survive your home. A few audience members clap softly, unsure if it's time yet. But Lily isn't done. What happens now, she asks. Michael looks at Dr. Phill, lost. He answers gently. Now, you live in daylight. It's uncomfortable, but it's clean. Lies rot in the dark. Karen wipes her eyes, voice breaking. I don't know if I can forgive you, Michael, but I also don't know how to stop loving you. Michael reaches for her hand. She doesn't pull away this time. Dr. Phill turns toward the camera for a brief, grounding narration as the music swells. In every family torn by secrecy, there comes a moment when pain and love sit at the same table. One will eventually stand up and leave. Which one depends on what we do next. The camera widens. Michael turns to Lily again. If you'll let me, I'll spend the rest of my life earning the right to be called your dad. Lily doesn't answer with words. She just leans forward and hugs him. The audience rises to their feet, not cheering, just clapping softly, the kind of applause that feels like a prayer. But as the lights fade and the music lingers, Dr. Phill looks down at the letters still on the table. His eyes narrow. There's a small postscript at the bottom, written in David's handwriting. He reads it under his breath, almost to himself. If this reaches you, tell Mike I kept another secret too. The line cuts off mid-sentence. No explanation, just enough to light the fuse again. That single unfinished line will lead Dr. Phil's team to search for David, and to a confession that will rewrite the story all over again. If the truth finally freed you, but one unfinished sentence could undo it all, would you dare to read it? The next morning, the studio is eerily still. The chairs are empty. The stage crew whispers. Something is about to happen. Dr. Phill walks onto the set, holding a tablet. Our producers track down David. He says he's agreed to speak on one condition. He doesn't want to be in the same room, but he's ready to tell the truth. The screen behind them flickers to life. A video call connects. David's face appears, older, pale, eyes sunk in regret. The years haven't been kind to him. David, Dr. Phill begins, calm but firm. You've seen what your silence has done. It's time to say what you came here to say. David exhales a long, painful breath. I didn't plan for any of this. I didn't plan for her. His voice shakes. But I loved Emily, and when she told me she was pregnant, I thought I could fix it before it broke everything. I was wrong. I've been wrong for 21 years. Karen and Lily sit side by side now, hands clasped in silent dread. Michael keeps his head bowed, almost as if he's bracing for another hit. Dr. Phill leans forward. Tell them what you mean, David. David's voice cracks. Emily wanted to keep the baby, but she didn't want me. I was selfish. I thought if I disappeared, everyone would be better off. So I left Lily at the hospital under Mike's name. I knew he'd protect her. He always protected me. Michael's eyes glisten. You begged me, David. You said you'd handle it. I know, David says, voice trembling. I thought I could live with it, but every time I saw you on holidays, every time Lily hugged me and called me uncle, it killed me a little more. Lily wipes a tear. You could have stopped this. You could have told me. David looks up, the weight of 2 decades pressing behind his eyes. And what would I have said? Hi, I'm the coward who left you behind and let someone else do my job. You deserved better than the man I was. The room is heavy. You can hear sniffles from the audience. Dr. Phil's voice breaks through gently. David, there's a line in your letter, the one you left unfinished. It said, I kept another secret too. What does that mean? David's eyes close. For a long moment, he says nothing. Then, quietly, it means Emily didn't just leave. She didn't die. She's alive. Gasps ripple across the audience. Karen's hand flies to her mouth. Lily goes pale. Michael straightens in disbelief. Alive? You told me I lied, David interrupts, his voice breaking completely. I told you she overdosed because I couldn't face what I'd done. She left the state. She sent me a letter when Lily turned 5, said she wanted to see her. I never told you. I burned it. The audience murmurs. A few cover their mouths. Dr. Phill sits back, eyes hard. You didn't just hide a woman. You hid Lily's mother. David nods, tears streaming. I thought I was sparing everyone, but I was really just trying to erase my shame. Lily shakes her head in disbelief. All these years I thought I didn't look like mom or dad because genetics were weird. Turns out, I was right. They were just lies wrapped in love. Michael tries to speak, but his voice cracks. You took her mother from her. I took her truth. Between us, we stole her whole story. David looks straight into the camera. I know, and I'll spend whatever life I've got left making it right. Dr. Phill leans forward steady. Then start now. Where's she, David? Where's Emily? David swallows hard. She's in Arizona. She works at a women's shelter in Phoenix. I'll send the address. Lily's eyes fill again. For a moment, anger gives way to wonder. She's alive, she whispers. My mom's alive. The audience collectively exhales. Dr. Phill nods gently. Lily, you have a choice now, to meet her, to hear her side. You don't owe forgiveness to anyone, but you deserve the truth in full. She nods, still in shock. I don't know if I can forgive them, but I can't live with half-truths anymore. Dodo, fils tonedipens. Forgiveness doesn't erase pain. It ends the ownership of it. You can let go without letting them off the hook. Michael's voice shakes as he turns to the screen. David, you say you'll make it right. Then prove it. Help me find her. Help Lily get the truth from both of us. No more hiding. David nods through tears. I will. I promise. Dr. Phill closes the segment with a line that lands like a moral echo. Every lie begins as protection and ends as prison. But confession, that's how we start to unlock the doors. The camera pans across the studio. 3 lives shattered, but maybe, just maybe, ready to rebuild. As the lights dim, Lily looks toward Dr. Phill and whispers, almost to herself, "For the first time, I want to know who I really am." 1 week later, a call from Arizona would change everything again and prove that some reunions heal while others reopen old wounds. If the truth brought your family to its knees, would you still chase the rest of it? The scene opens in warm light. A quiet street in Arizona. The hum of cicadas. The faint sound of wind chimes outside a small women's shelter painted pale blue. Lily stands at the door, clutching a folded photo, the only one she has of herself as a baby. Behind her, Michael keeps a respectful distance. He doesn't speak. He just watches his daughter take the first step into the truth he once hid from her. Dr. Phil's narration overlays softly. Some reunions begin with joy. Others begin with fear. But every reunion begins with a choice, to face what was once too painful to touch. The door opens. A woman appears, mid-40s, kind eyes, tired smile. Emily. The world seems to pause. Lily stares at her, the photo trembling in her hand. "You're her," she whispers. Emily's lips quiver. In your mind, they fall into each other's arms, years of absence dissolving in one impossible moment. No words, just the sound of two hearts finding rhythm again. Michael turns away, tears in his eyes. He doesn't want to intrude on what was always meant to be. Later that week, back in the studio, Dr. Phill sits with them all, Lily, Michael, and Emily, together on one stage for the first time. The air feels lighter than it did weeks ago, though the tension hasn't vanished completely. Healing rarely comes without scars. Dr. Phill leans forward. "Emily, when you left, what were you running from?" She exhales slowly. "From myself. From shame. I thought I didn't deserve to be her mother. When I found out Mike took her in, I told myself she'd have a better life. But I watched her grow up online, through pictures her aunt posted. Every birthday, I promised myself I'd reach out. And every year, fear won." Lily listens silently, tears streaking her cheeks. "You both thought you were protecting me," she says softly. "But all you did was teach me how to live without the truth." The words hit hard, not cruel, just true. The kind of truth that doesn't aim to wound, only to cleanse. Dr. Phill nods. That's what secrecy does. It doesn't just hide facts, it hides identity. He turns to Lily. "So, where do you go from here?" She thinks for a long moment before answering. "I stop running. I stop letting other people's fear write my story. I don't know if I can forgive everything yet, but I can start by understanding it." Michael's voice trembles. "You don't owe me forgiveness, sweetheart. Just the chance to keep showing up." Emily reaches across the table, taking both their hands. "We can't rewrite what we were, but we can choose who we are now." Dr. Phill smiles gently. That's the part most families never get to. The moment where the past stops being a weapon and starts being a teacher. The audience nods, many wiping tears. He continues softly, almost reflective. Michael lied to protect. David lied to forget. Emily left to survive. But somewhere between all that hurt, love refused to die. It waited, buried, bruised, but breathing, for the day truth could walk in. The camera pans out as Lily leans her head on Michael's shoulder. Emily wipes her eyes. The stage feels different now. Not a battlefield, but a confession booth that finally went quiet. Dr. Phill closes with the voice of someone who's seen hundreds of families fall apart, and just enough find their way back. "Sometimes," he says, "the family we're born into breaks us. But the family we choose, the one built on honesty, not blood, that's the one that heals us." The lights dim. The camera catches one last shot. Lily's slipping the baby photo back in her pocket, but this time she adds something new beside it, a picture of the three of them, smiling. Because the past doesn't vanish when you face it. It just finally stops controlling the ending. The screen fades to black. If this story moved you, take a moment tonight to reach out to someone you've drifted from. Because sometimes one honest conversation can do what years of silence never could. Share this story, not for drama, but for truth. Because love built on lies eventually collapses, but love built on honesty lasts.